Happy Tuesday, television family. We're back to get you going here on this 22nd day of April, 2025. I am Dan Kuntz. Middle-level clouds kind of held the heat in a little bit. We're at 40 degrees. We kind of skirted around that whole frost warning. It's still out there. It doesn't expire for another couple hours. It expires at 9 o'clock this morning. But everybody in our viewing area didn't have to worry about it. The coldest anybody got was Dryden. Dryden got down to 34 degrees. Nobody got down to the freezing mark, at least in our viewing area that we know of. And I have all of the local weather station up there right now, and everybody seemed doing okay. So we dodged that bullet because the clouds that came in late afternoon were supposed to depart in the overnight hours, and they really didn't. They kind of hung around a little bit, which laid the blanket down, which means it was a little bit warmer for the overnight lows than they were expected. So we're good to go there. Today's high temperature will be about what we had yesterday, 61, 62, right around there. A little bit warmer Wednesday, a little bit warmer Thursday, lower 70s Thursday. About that on Friday, and then the weekend looking a little dicey. It's certainly going to be cooler, but it doesn't look like we're going to have any rain on the Technoplex Youth Parade. It is going to be a little unsettled on Saturday, but most of the unsettled weather will be after the parade. All of those details are on the way, as is news, as is sports. Kind of quiet. Mariners didn't play yesterday, and Monday is not a lot of prep sports to talk about, but we'll let you know what's going on in the world of prep sports anyway, and everything else sports related. And in our interview segment in the back half of the program, Garth Donald will be joining me from the Chelan-Douglas Health District. He has a very important job, and unfortunately, he's real busy. He's the mental health and substance abuse coordinator for the Chelan-Douglas Health District, and we're talking about well, drugs. It's a complicated, very deep conversation. There's no other way to put it. Just tune in and you'll find out what we're talking about. You're going to learn a lot from Garth Donald in the back half of the program. 2 minutes after the hour, let's take our tour, shall we? Or tours, if you will. We use 4 cameras. And there we go, camera number 1. Those are the mid-level clouds I was talking about today. Today we hit a milestone. We hit a milestone over 14 hours of daylight. Sunrise this morning was before 6, 5:59, and it was spectacular, I might add. Sunset after 8 o'clock. So sunrise before 6 now, sunset after 8. Eventually sunrise will be before 5, and sunset will be after 9, but we're a ways away from that. And it was a stunning sunrise this morning. People, you know, when they say, what time do you get up in the morning to do the show Monday through Friday? And I say, I get up at 3. And they go, that's insane. I said, yeah, but you get to see the sunrise every day. And this morning's was spectacular. We had those clouds that you see there. And right before the sun began to rise over the East Wenatchee bench, about 5:45 or so, it was just gorgeous. All the clouds were painted blood red. It was beautiful. I just stood there with my mouth agape. Then a bug flew in my throat, and that was the end of that. Camera number 2. Where are we off to today? I don't know. I'm going to guess that's got to be the monitor camera once again. We used that one yesterday. A lot of real estate in that shot. There's Cashmere off in the background. You can see Stein Hill popping up a little bit. Even farther away is Dryden, and then Shaston. Of course, still quite a bit of snow on the foothills. We haven't had a big warm-up in the mountains, and that's good. That means the snowpack is slowly dissipating and filling up the area, rivers and streams. No real floods in the near forecast. Beautiful shot from our monitor camera. That's gorgeous. How would you like to live there? Well, it's a long driveway, and it would be tough to plow. Camera number 3. We did this camera yesterday, and I didn't know where it was, and I should have asked Josiah. Well, there's a ribbon of roadway there, and I wonder if that's like McNeil Canyon and it's moved. I don't know. It could be. We have a camera up there. We use it quite a bit. I bet you that might be it. That might be the McNeil Canyon camera, just not showing Lake Chelan proper. That's a pure guess. I honestly don't know. I really should do my homework. And camera number 4. I didn't do my homework when I was a kid. What's the point? Nice view of Lake Wenatchee. Gorgeous view up there. The snow continues to melt, and the surface is just as smooth as glass. And I guarantee you they're going to have a salmon season come July and August in the Lake Wenatchee area, because they say the salmon runs are going to be huge again this year. It was a record salmon run last year, which is why they opened up the lake, and they're going to do it again this year. I can almost guarantee you that, even though I don't work for the Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife. I'm not qualified. We do this on Tuesdays, the Climate Prediction Center's long-term forecast. This will take you from Sunday, which is the Pepsi Cola Youth Day at the Apple Blossom Festival, through Thursday. And as you can see, Temperatures right around normal, which means mid-60s for the most part for our neck of the woods. If you want it hot, head on down to Arkansas, Alabama, and Mississippi, and a little bit of Louisiana, and you can get nice and toasty there. As far as precipitation is concerned, again, same time period, this upcoming Sunday through Thursday, a slightly better than 50-50 chance of maybe having a little bit more precipitation than normal, which means really not that much. But from April 27th through May 1st, could get a little bit more precipitation than we would normally have this time of the year. We shall see, but the Climate Prediction Center does a pretty good job. Got to hand it to them on that. All right, what's going to happen today? Well, after yesterday's high of 61, that's about where we're going to be today. Not a lot of wind to talk about, right around 60, 61, 62, right around there. Ooh, that's kind of cool. 39 for the overnight low tonight. A little bit warmer on Wednesday. Up to 67 we go. We'll be right at the 70-degree mark on Thursday. That's looking good. Friday, close to 70. We'll see a few more clouds on Friday because the models are saying we're going to have a trough. It's going to develop across the western U.S. It's going to start late Friday. It's going to last through the weekend. But the center of low pressure is actually going to be farther south than they were originally anticipating. So as far as the Technopex Youth Parade, the temperature is going to be around normal in the afternoon. It'll be a little cool in the morning when the parade starts. But it looks like we're not going to have any rain because even though we have a 30% chance of rain on Saturday for the youth parade, it is in the afternoon, not in the evening hours. And then by Sunday afternoon, it's gone Johnson. We're right back to sunshine and very pleasant weather on Sunday and Monday. Nothing dramatic out there. All things considered, pretty quiet, pretty benign, and we will take it anytime this time of the year. We're going to take a 2-minute break, and when we come back, we'll have your Tuesday morning news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
A ductless unit from Carrier can keep anyone comfortable. Take Shelly, for instance. She finds me time in her new attic-turned-home gym. And with her Carrier ductless unit, the temperature is always perfect. No matter how intense her workout gets. Carrier. Total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
Central Washington Water is home to the Hot Spring Spa for over 45 years. Come see the Freshwater Smart IQ. It monitors your saltwater spa's pH balance, chlorine, and more. Or the cold plunge tub that will leave you feeling rejuvenated. Plug-and-play spas make hot tubbing easy. With great financing available, cold water, salt water, hot water, Central Washington Water has a spa for your budget and your lifestyle. Stop by today.
Tour Moses Lake just a gas tank away. With its abundance of outdoor activities, Moses Lake is a great place to visit. From fishing and boating to exploring the city's attractions, there is no shortage of things to do. Whether you're enjoying any one of the variety of restaurants with the family or an adventure-filled day with friends, Moses Lake has something for everyone. TourMosesLake.com and start your adventure today.
Right at the 40-degree mark, you can see the mid-level clouds will be departing. We'll see quite a bit of sunshine, lower 60s again today, pretty much what we had yesterday. Will be a little bit warmer on Wednesday, a beautiful day Thursday to kick off the Apple Blossom Festival. Slightly cooler, slightly cloudier for the weekend. Just about 10 minutes after the hour, an East Wenatchee landlord is accused of shooting and killing his tenant late Friday after entering the victim's home with a handgun. Police said at about 10 o'clock, 44-year-old Juan Luis Estrada Lopez entered the house in the 100 block of 9th Street Northeast and shot 48-year-old Gregorio Garza Sr. Garza pronounced dead at the scene from a single gunshot wound to the chest. Estrada apparently was Garza's landlord. Police say two of Garza's family members saw the shooting, identified Estrada as the murderer. He allegedly confessed to the killing both to police and his own relatives. Estrada is being held in the Chelan County Regional Justice Center, facing charges of first-degree murder and assault. A Yakima man is in custody after allegedly transporting 2,000 tablets of fentanyl and other narcotics through Grant County. Sheriff's deputies say 44-year-old Santos Telez Mojica, he was arrested Thursday during a traffic stop on I-90 as part of a 3-month investigation by the county's drug task force. In a search of his car, investigators say they found the fentanyl, plus 2 pounds of methamphetamine, 3 ounces of cocaine, 7 firearms, and $5,000 in cash. Telez has been suspected of trafficking drugs into Grant County from Yakima. He was charged Friday in Superior Court with possession of drugs with intent to deliver. The Upper Wenatchee Valley will determine the outcome of Cascade Medical Center's emergency services today. Yeah, it's election day, kind of snuck up on us. Ballots went out earlier this month for today's special election. The renewal levy is the only thing on it. Voters in the hospital district have a chance to reapprove the emergency services levy at 50 cents per $1,000 of assessed property value, which pays for ambulance response and ER treatment. 6 years ago, the property tax levy passed with an overwhelming 80% approval rate. Hospital administrators told us that the levy equals 20% of revenue. It helps pay for Cascade's EMS's 12 full-time paramedics and EMTs, their fleet of 5 vehicles, an on-staff physician, physician's assistant, nurses, and a technician. Hourly workers at Stevens Pass Ski Resort and other ski destinations, they're waiting to see whether they can become part of a class action lawsuit against the parent company, Vail Resorts. About 100,000 current and former employees across 16 states, including our state, could be in line for damage claims of more than $100 million. The workers allege they were wrongly denied pay for overtime and training and not reimbursed when they missed rest or meal breaks, among other claims. The lawsuit's been developing in both California and the United States District Court in Colorado. That's where Vail is headquartered. The next hearing on the case is scheduled in California on June 6th. A 5-unit housing complex is underway on South Wilson Street, thanks to the Greater Wenatchee Valley's Habitat for Humanity. Construction kicked off last week with a groundbreaking and appearances from city council members and families who will move into the complex. Once it's done, the process will take about 2 years to finish. Costs about $1.2 million. NCWLIFE spoke with Habitat for Humanity Board President Dave Hulse to learn about the project and how the process works.
Part of the process to qualify for the home, the first piece is need, and the second piece is ability to pay. You have to have some source of income that we believe that you can pay for the house. And then the third one is willingness to partner. And the willingness to partner, there's 200 hours of sweat equity that are required. Many people choose to do that by working on the home, and we think that's great because it really gives you a sense of ownership of the house. There's some other ways you can get your hours. Not everybody is suited to being on the build site. You can volunteer at the Habitat store, which is down on South Wenatchee Ave, and put your hours in there. And there's also some classes that are available at Home Depot and Lowe's, give classes in how to maintain homes. And when you document those hours, those can count as well, because we want to train you to be a homeowner. This particular lot here was $170,000. Usually we can't afford a lot that expensive, but the fact that we can put 5 units on it, that's what made it affordable for us. When you divide out the cost of the property plus what it costs us to demolish the existing structures on it, we're probably about $50,000 a unit for the property. And you can't do much better than that in Wenatchee. We're just kicking off our fundraising campaign, and we're hoping to raise $1 million over about the next 2 years. We have a portion of the money that we need to build these homes. This total build is going to be about $1.2 million. So we've already paid for the property and all of that, but as we start buying building materials and that kinds of thing, we're going to need more money eventually. And then we also need to acquire money to buy the next property after this one because we want to go and build more. So we figure the $1 million over the next 2 years is going to put us in the kind of shape that we need to be in. If anyone knows of a piece of property that is available for purchase or that you might be willing to sell for an advantageous price, we'd be interested because it's difficult to find property that's in a good location, that's near schools, near parks, near public transportation, in a neighborhood that's compatible with the kind of house that we're going to build, that's available, that we can afford. In the city of Wenatchee, the price of houses and property has just gone up and up and up. So we have been very lucky on the piece of property that we found. And this one here, another organization, the Columbia Valley Housing Authority, approached us and said that they had this property and they were hoping to do something with it, and they thought that we were a better fit. So they sold it to us for a pretty advantageous price, and we were able to purchase it. And we got very excited because it was a big flat piece of property with no problems, and so we're going to put 5 units on it, so we're pretty happy about that. We have one lead builder who's an employee who makes sure that everything's done properly and to the plan, and everyone else on the job is a volunteer. So sometimes we have a local organization or business will want to have like a team building event, fun day. It's a really fun time. It's a great way to interact with your employees, have people working together, solving problems. A lot of memories are made there. So that's a lot of fun. Sometimes we'll have a church group or a local organization or a family or just an individual who steps forward and says, hey, I've got some time, I'd like to work. So we've got a volunteer coordinator who can put you together with the builder and figure out what days you'll be able to do things on the job site.
And helicopter training is going to take place starting this morning in a section of the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest, during which time no drones will be allowed in the area. From today through Saturday, and then again on May 22nd through the 25th, helicopters will be flown in the Martin Ranch area. That's above number 2 Canyon, roughly 5 miles south of Wenatchee. Why are they doing it? They need to recertify U.S. Forest Service helicopter repellers so they can provide fire and medical responses via helicopter during the summer. And if a drone is flown in the area while they're training, helicopters got to land and the training will be stalled. So heads up there. And that's the news. At 17 minutes after the hour, if you're interested in the news, and we think you are, we've done our research, watch the news tonight at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, the NCWLIFE Evening News. Those are the air times on television, or as we like to say in the business, TV. And if that doesn't work for you, hey, there's always the internet. It'll be up and running, so you can go to our homepage to watch the news. Right around 5 o'clock, you can go to our Facebook page, you can go to our YouTube page. And if something out there warrants our attention, like if it's newsworthy, send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. Next up, sports, the Obscura Holiday. Today in history, some celebrity birthdays, an opinion from Mike Mad Dog McDonald and our friend Mike Mad Dog McDonald. And Garth Darnold from the Chelan-Douglas Health District will be joining me as well. You're watching a Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel. The family at the Epladolin want to help your loved one feel at ease in their new home environment. Epladolin offers beautiful one-bedroom and studio apartments. Residents enjoy 3 delicious home-style meals a day, laundry service, housekeeping service, and encouragement to make themselves cozy in their new home. Epladolin welcomes your family to come and visit their family. Epladolin, independent and assisted living. They make the complicated easy for you. Call today for a tour.
Craving fresh Asian comfort food? Steam Panda is Wenatchee's popular, family-friendly Asian restaurant. They focus on providing guests with delicious, healthy, fresh, and natural dishes for an affordable price. It's time to enjoy one of their many popular house-made soup dumplings, ramen noodles, or pho dishes. And make sure to ask about their lunch and chef specials on sushi rolls. Steam Panda's Hawaiian poke bowl and salads are excellent with your favorite boba tea. Stop by or order online at Steam Panda today.
Caught in a conflict? Family, workplace, neighbor, business, housing disputes? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us to learn more.
Celebrate Apple Blossom with the Stamilk Grand Parade Saturday, May 3rd at 11 a.m. on the NCWLIFE channel. Coverage is brought to you in part by our Platinum supporter, Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. Also by Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington, Boswell's Home Furnishings, Harvest Valley Pest Control, Mary Mae's, Together for Youth, and the Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center. Watch the Stamilk Grand Parade Saturday, May 3rd on your local TV station, the NCWLIFE channel.
Just about 21 minutes after the hour, Seattle Mariners, Boston Red Sox meet for the first time this season today. It's a 3-game series in Boston. Boston is 7-4 at Fenway Park. They are 13-11 overall. The Mariners have won 8 of their last 10. They are 4-5 on the road and 12-10 overall. Bryce Miller starts for the M's. Brian Below gets the nod for the Red Sox. First pitch on Roots Sports is at 3:45. Just one game, the American League West scoreboard. The Astros beat the Blue Jays 7-0. Almost everybody in the American League West is right at the 500 mark. It's a very tight race among those 5 teams. Straight to the prep softball scoreboard we go. Again, it was a pretty light schedule. Moses Lake shut out Cheney 10-0 in Moses Lake, and one score in soccer to pass along for you. Okanagan, by the way, this snuck up on me. The Bulldogs are undefeated. They are 11-0. They're playing good soccer. Well, you got to be undefeated. They beat Chelan on the pitch yesterday. The final was 4-0. All right, that's what happened. Here's what's going to happen. Prep baseball today. Eastmont hits the road. They'll take on the Sunnyside Grizzlies at 4 o'clock. Also 4 o'clock first pitch as Omak plays host to Chelan, and Lake Roosevelt will host Okanagan. 4:30 first pitch for Brewster at Liberty Bell. And then at 5 o'clock tonight, Moses Lake welcomes Davis to Larson Field, and Ephrata will host Quincy at 6 o'clock. Prep softball. It's doubleheader Tuesday for a couple of teams. Wenatchee will be in Yakima, the gateway to Wapato. They have a doubleheader with Eisenhower. That starts at 3 o'clock. Same deal with Othello. They welcome Ephrata to town for a twin bill. First pitch, first game at 3 o'clock. 4 o'clock first pitch for Omak and Chelan. The rest of these are single games. Tenasket will host Bridgeport at 4:30. Same start time for Lake Roosevelt at Okanagan and Brewster at Liberty Bell. Moses Lake hits the road to take on Mount Si at 5. Prep soccer, pretty busy. Tenaske's at Bridgeport at 4 o'clock, and Omak is at Manson at 4:30. Some of these earlier games have to play earlier because they don't have lights at their stadium. 6 o'clock start for Cashmere at Keona Benton, Liberty Bell at Cascade, Ephrata at Toppenish, and Quincy at Sela. And at 7 o'clock tonight, Eastmont will take on Sunnyside. Moses Lake is at West Valley. And the Wenatchee Bighorns continue their homestand in TBL basketball this Thursday. We will have it here on our Facebook page. Wenatchee will host the Seattle Superhawks at Wenatchee Valley College Thursday night, 7 o'clock. Grant Olson with the play-by-play pregame at 6:45, streaming on our Facebook page right here. We're busy this week because then, of course, on Saturday we got the Technoplex Youth Parade and then lots of stuff. Next week, it's almost apple blossom time. And those are just some of the games that people are playing at 23 minutes after the hour. It is Earth Day. I didn't mention that at the start of the show, my bad. It is National Girl Scout Leaders Day. It's National Beagle Day. I used to have a beagle. Not doing any of those. Today is National Jelly Bean Day today. Jelly beans. There you go. Jelly bean used to be a term back in the roaring 20s. It was a term. A jelly bean meant a young man who was stylish and handsome and debonair, but no other redeeming qualities except that. They could probably call me a jelly bean. Sometimes during the 30s, they think, is when jelly beans began to be associated with Easter, probably because they look like tiny eggs. They don't really, to me. Over 16 billion jelly beans are made every year just for Easter. Most jelly bean assortments, if you buy them by a bag, features a core of 8 flavors. There are a lot more. And the most popular jelly bean flavor in this country, I'll let you think about it for just a little bit if you want to take a guess. The most popular jelly bean flavor in the U.S. is cherry. There you go. Happy National Jelly Bean Day today. I like jelly beans, but they play havoc on your teeth. Today in history at 25 minutes after the hour, there they go, April 22nd, 1889. At 12 noon sharp, for the most part, thousands rushed to claim land in the Great Land Rush of 1889. Of course, those who snuck over the night before after the sun went down were known as Sooners. People got to the land that they wanted, and there was somebody already squatting there Within hours, the cities of Oklahoma City and Guthrie are formed with populations of at least 10,000. It was just like that quick. I've estimated 50,000 people lined up for their place of the available 2 million acres. All you had to do was live in it and work on it. And for that, it was free, but then again, you were forced to live in Oklahoma. By the second week of the Great Land Rush, new settlers had opened schools. Children were taught by volunteers who were paid for by the parents of the peoples until they could actually set up school districts. Within a month of this event, Oklahoma City had 5 banks and 6 newspapers. Of course, the Choctaw, the Creek, the Cherokee, the Chickasaw, and the Seminole were not consulted after having forcibly been moved to Oklahoma. Now you got to move again, because here we come again, the Great Land Rush of 1889. Happy Earth Day. It was 55 years ago today, April 22nd, 1970. Nobody knew if this was going to catch on. Turns out it caught on. The very first Earth Day is celebrated. It is now observed in 192 countries. I didn't even know we had 192 countries on this planet. The nonprofit Earth Day Network is the coordinator, and of course there's still some Earth Day stuff going on in our neck of the woods on this Earth Day, April 22nd. A couple of baseball notes. April 22nd, 1977, 48 years ago today, the Yankees had broken a 5-game losing streak the day before by using a lineup that was literally drawn out of a hat. Now, your defensive position, if you played first base, you're going to play first base. Shortstop is going to play shortstop. But the batting order, Billy Martin just drew it out of a hat, and it worked. They won. So the next day against the Blue Jays, Billy did it again. He took his hat off. He put the lineup in his hat. He had Reggie Jackson pull the lineup out of a hat, the batting lineup, and it worked again. Yankees beat the Blue Jays 8-6. And I remember this. I was listening to this on the radio up at our family cabin at Lake Wenatchee. Chris Bosio on this date in 1993, hard to believe it's been 32 years, pitches a no-hitter. Mariners beat the Red Sox 7-0. He walked the first 2 batters he faced in the top of the first inning, and then he retired the last 27 Red Sox in a row. He struck out 4, only took 97 pitches. Here's how it ended.
2-1 pitch, ground ball over the middle, charged by Vizquel, barehands and a no-hitter.
Pretty cool. Chris Bosio's no-hitter 32 years ago today at the Kingdome. As far as birthdays are concerned, I found this fascinating. At the end of the 20th century, they did a poll among historians, scholars, people who were smarter than I am. The question was simple in this poll: who was the most significant and influential figure of the 20th century? The most significant and influential figure. Now, I figured it would be Churchill, FDR, maybe Pope John Paul II. Nope, the one who won the poll going away, Lenin. Vladimir Lenin. Of course, he founded a country, and that usually does it, the founder of the Soviet Union. Karl Marx had the idea of communism, but it was Vladimir Lenin who actually made it work. The most influential and significant person of the 20th century in a poll. He was born in the state in 1870, died of a stroke in 1924. The greatest jazz bassist of all time, Charles Mingus. Unlike almost every jazz legend of his generation, he didn't live very long. Died in 1979 at the age of 56. He was also a great bassist as a composer and a band leader as well. If you're a jazz aficionado, there are 2 records you should have in your collection. Well, you should have a lot, but Mingus Ahum and New Tijuana Moods. 2 great pieces of work. Charles Mingus, born in the state 103 years ago today. We lost Glenn Campbell quite some time ago now. 8 years ago is when Glenn Campbell died. He was the 7th son of a 7th son. That's pretty cool. And he placed a total of 80 different songs on the Billboard Country Chart, the Billboard Hot 100, or the Adult Contemporary Chart. 80 different songs. 29 of those made the top 10. 9 of those got to number 1. Glenn Campbell, also a great guitarist, born in the state in 1936. Couple of living birthdays. He's now fully retired from acting. Jack Nicholson is 88 years old today. 12 Academy Award nominations makes him the most nominated male actor in the history of the Academy Awards. And of course, he's got 3 of them. Best Actor for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and As Good as It Gets, and Best Supporting Actor for Terms of Endearment. Jack Nicholson is 88 years old today. And happy birthday, Beast Mode. Marshawn Lynch is 39 years old today. Happy birthday to him. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. They got a spring special going on right now. It's a spring special tune-up. They get you some sort of discount. I can't remember what it is. I just did the ad. Now I can't remember what it is. At Alpine Air. So they'll come out there, and for a very reasonable price, they'll give your HVAC system the once over twice to make sure it's good to go, to make the transition from heating your home to cooling your home. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. They are our platinum sponsors. Mike Benatti's got an opinion coming up, and then a fascinating conversation you don't want to miss. Garth Donald came by to see me last week. He is the Mental Health and Substance Abuse Coordinator for the Chelan Douglas Health District. He's busy. We wish he wasn't, but he is. But the topic is important. We'll have that for you when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
Celebrate Apple Blossom with a classy chassis parade on Friday, May 2nd at 6 p.m. on the NCWLIFE channel. Coverage is brought to you in part by our platinum supporter, Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. Also by Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington, Boswell's Home Furnishings, Harvest Valley Pest Control, Merry Maids, Together for Youth, and the Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center. Watch the Classy Chassis Parade Friday, May 2nd at 6 p.m. on your local TV station, the NCWLIFE channel. Global Car Care has the best customer service in the Valley. From the moment you walk in the door, their goal is to help you stay on the road, so you can keep doing what's important to you. Global Car Care certified ASE mechanics stand behind your automotive repairs.
Right now at Les Schwab Tires, it's the Best for Less sales event. Save up to $120 instantly on a set of 4 tires. Choose from a wide selection of our longest-lasting, best-performing tires, and every tire is covered by America's best tire warranty. With a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no-hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. It's our best deal on our best tires with the best service in the business. Get more from less.
Tour Moses Lake just a gas tank away. With its abundance of outdoor activities, Moses Lake is a great place to visit. From fishing and boating to exploring the city's attractions, there is no shortage of things to do. Whether you're enjoying any one of the variety of restaurants with the family or an adventure-filled day with friends, Moses Lake has something for everyone. Tour moseslake.com and start your adventure today.
Hey. If it feels like everything you say to your teenager goes in one ear and out the other, you're not alone. But even when it seems like they aren't listening, they are, especially when it comes to a topic like drugs. Find time in everyday moments to share facts, teach refusal skills, and answer their questions about drugs, including opioids like fentanyl, because your words matter. Get the conversation started today.
This is Mike Mad Dog McNally. Everybody's entitled to my opinion when someone mentions white male privilege. Us white guys got our panties in a pucker. What privilege, we say? I work for everything I have. Well, the privilege we're talking about here is not something we had to earn. And also, truly, it's not something that we're deliberately trying to take from someone else. It's just the benefit that society gives us because of our maleness and the color of our skin. Now, I'm sorry, let's face it. I have accomplished some things in my life due to hard work, education, responsibility, etc. There's no denying that. But I also have to admit that I may not have had the same payoffs for that hard work and responsibility or the same opportunities I've had if I had been female, Hispanic, black, what have you. Now, is there any shame in admitting that? No, of course not. And admitting it doesn't negate my hard work and responsibility. But denying I've had this privilege, well, that smacks of social injustice and a denial of the unfairness of life that has been unfair in my favor and at someone else's expense. This is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and that's my opinion.
Celebrate Apple Blossom with the Technoplex Youth Parade, Saturday, April 26th at 11 a.m. on the NCWLIFE channel. Coverage is brought to you in part by our Platinum supporter, Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. Also by Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington, Boswell's Home Furnishings, Harvest Valley Pest Control, Merry Maids, Together for Youth, and the Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center. It's the Technoplex Youth Parade, Saturday, April 26th on your local TV station, the NCWLIFE channel.
It's the NCWLIFE Community Calendar, a presentation of the Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center. The 106th Washington State Apple Blossom Festival begins its 11-day run on April 24th. The first weekend features the Technoplex Youth Parade, which you can watch live on the NCWLIFE channel. The food fair and the Blossoms and Brews Beer Garden opens on the 24th, as does the Giza Credit Union Entertainment Stage and the Fantastic Shows Carnival. Appleblossom.org has all the info.
Save hundreds, one seat at a time, at Boswell's. Right now, take $200 off each dressless seat. This includes each dressless Laurel and Mint dining chair and home office chair, each dressless recliner, and each dressless sofa seat. Spring is here. Refresh your home with stressless seating for less. Shop Boswell's, 2915 Easy Street in Wenatchee.
When you enjoy Abby's Pizza at your place, close your eyes and you can taste old-fashioned values, classic pizza parlor decor, and generations of tradition. Recreate that magic. Open your eyes and head to abbys.com. With pickup and delivery options, no matter where you dine, Abby's just tastes better. This is Skinny, and he helped found Abby's 60 years ago. In honor of Skinny, we're putting his favorite pizza on sale. Savory pizza sauce, Canadian bacon piled to the edge, and juicy tomatoes make this a very special pizza. Order your Skinny special right now at abbys.com.
Welcome back to the program. This morning's topic is a serious and sober one involving people who are oftentimes not sober and go over the line. Garth Donald from the Chelan Douglas Health District is an MSSA, which you told me off camera means?
It's a Master of the Science of Social Administration.
That is a big title.
It is. It's a little bit of social work. It's a little bit of public health, population analysis, community development, and it's perfect for the topic we are discussing today.
You went to Case Western University, which has a school that specializes exactly in what you did.
Absolutely,
and then you worked your way here. How did you end up here in little old Wenatchee town, United States of America?
Absolutely. So I am from Pacific Northwest. My family's been here from a long time and just moved over here for an amazing quality of life that we have in the valley.
Why this line of work? Did you have an epiphany when you were a kid? This is what I want to do. I want to help people, or just it just kind of develop as you grew older and decided I have to do something for a living?
Yeah, I was always interested in social work and helping other people. And as I was going through school, I found absolutely fascinating watching how communities develop, either planned or unplanned, how populations can care for themselves in a larger setting, in a city or a state or even on a national level. I found these things absolutely fascinating. There's a lot of math that goes on behind large population systems. I don't want to bog everything down with that, but that's my passion, and I really love that aspect of my job.
So you have to work in your job at the Chelan Douglas Health District. He's the mental health and substance abuse coordinator. Not only are you wearing a lot of hats, but you're dealing with a lot of different people, both from a governmental standpoint and other folks who are all trying to pull the rope in the same direction, right?
Yeah, so the work that we do at the health district, we have a lot of resources and a lot of partners, and so even with the campaigns that we're working on right now, I will reach out to national level CDC and try and find what are the best practices, what's working, what's not, how can we incorporate that to our area. And we'll look at other counties in the state, and again, what's working, what's not, what's working really well in the rural areas. We want to make sure that we're not missing any parts of either Chelan or Douglas County. So it's a lot of work with a lot of professionals who are very good at what they do.
I have the distinct impression that you've been busy lately.
There's a lot on the plate. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen a lot in the news. We do have some pretty big issues that we are tackling, and we are working nonstop to try and improve the health of our community.
The first thing that I noticed when I got my notes from Garth here, overall opioid overdose rates down nationally, up in our footprint in Chelan, Douglas, Ferry, Okanagan County. What's going on there?
Yeah, and it's Washington State as well. It has been going up through 2024. Again, I can come up with a lot of theories, and I've heard a lot of theories. At the end of the day, realistically, what convinces me most is the West Coast, and this goes back 20, 30 years, the West Coast tends to be behind the opioid epidemic issue 2 or 3 years. And so whatever we see develop in Philadelphia and New York and Atlanta, everything that happens over there, we know we have about a 2-year window until they end up on our coast. So contaminants, addiction rates, treatment facilities being built, we're always a little bit behind, so I'm not surprised that we are having an uptick through 2024. I do think with all the efforts that we're putting in, and all of our counties in Washington State are working really hard on this issue, I do think that our numbers will be declining 2025, 2026 moving forward.
Opioids is a big umbrella, but around our parts, and the first thing that pops into my mind is the F word, fentanyl.
Yeah, so fentanyl it's the big word right now. Fentanyl does have medical use. It is really important in say post-surgery pain management, but there is also a pretty heavy illicit supply of fentanyl that is around. The reason that we call it the opioid crisis is because while fentanyl is really bad, fentanyl is not alone. There are a lot of prescribed opioids that, again, are part of people's healing process that doctors prescribe that we still need to be careful about. These are very, very potent medications. And so when we're dealing with the opioid crisis, yes, some of it is fentanyl on the streets, some of it is how we deal with the medications that are prescribed to us and make sure that they're not being diverted to people who don't need them, to make sure that when we're done with the healing process that we're able to dispose of the medication and know when it's time, and also to feel comfortable to talk to your doctor and let them know this is not working. I am worried about some of the side effects that I'm seeing. We want to make sure that people are comfortable and that we're not embarrassed about making these kind of calls and being honest for if this medication's not working.
It's one thing to be in a hospital and be in intense pain and a small amount of fentanyl, as you mentioned before, very small amount goes a long way. That's in a controlled environment, a controlled atmosphere. Even afterwards, even if you're still under the care of a primary care physician, post-surgery or whatever, this is when things can start spiraling a little sideways.
Absolutely. So, yeah, opioids across the board, very potent medication, and your body will respond to opioids and get used to them. And
so you build up a tolerance like any other drug.
Bingo. That's it. A lot of people will build up a tolerance to it. And right now we're still at a point, and it's very okay to be honest about this. A lot of folks are embarrassed that they are in daily pain or that they have to take opioids. It's really important that folks know that it's okay. It's okay if you got hurt. It's okay if you are healing, because if you're embarrassed about taking these kind of medications, you're not going to be willing to talk to your doctor. And so it's very important, if you are on opioids, if you got these prescribed, which again, part of pain management, make sure you have a good plan with your doctor about what it means to taper off. And when the pain is when the pain is over, what it looks like to slowly ramp down, to really make sure that your medication is secure, that other people in your household can't get it. And the big one is, this is not medication to be shared. Any prescription should not be shared, but and I'm sure you've seen it before. Your friend at the gym hurt their shoulder, someone on the job hurt their back, and it would make sense to give them one of these pain pills.
They reach into their gym bag and say, here, Jerry, take one of these.
Yes. That seems like a very natural thing to do. This is not aspirin. This is not Tylenol. This is not a medication that should be shared. It makes sense at the time, but because it's so potent, if you give it to someone who is not on a pain management plan with a doctor, you are setting them up for failure. The best way to show someone that you care and love them is to not share your medication.
And I guess the challenge is, from a patient standpoint, is you're in whatever pain that you are in that requires a significant opioid prescription. How do you know when you're feeling better because you're feeling better, or you're feeling better because you got opioids in your system? Where does that line come?
100%, yeah. And that's again, having open communication with your doctor, your physical therapist, and really advocating for yourself. And this is a big one. That's not always easy to do if you've been injured. And so if there's someone in your life who has been injured and is going through pain management, pay attention to what they're going through and help them advocate for themselves. Offer to get them to the doctor's office if they have an appointment coming up. Encourage them to reach out. Even something simple as a message through the messaging service that we have through our hospitals and doctors' offices in the region. Help your friends out if it looks like they're struggling with a prescription.
How does Narcan work? I mean, I know a lot of friends in law enforcement who are incredulous that Narcan is now part of their standard issued equipment when they go out on patrol, which was never the case before.
Absolutely.
Ambulances carry it now. Everybody, it seems to be everywhere. Somebody is overdosing, boom, out comes the Narcan, or as the medical term is
naloxone.
Naloxone.
Totally.
How exactly does that reverse the effects of an overdose?
Yeah, that is a great question. So naloxone is the name of the drug itself, the medication, and then Narcan is a brand name. There's many different brands. Narcan is the most popular. I use the term naloxone just because I work with this stuff all the time. Narcan is a perfectly fine word to use. Everyone understands it, so it's fine to call it that, not a problem. How does it work? So it is a opioid antagonist. So you have opioid receptors in your brain. Opioids that you take, like any of these opioid painkillers, will sit in the receptors in your brain. Naloxone, Narcan, will effectively knock the opioids out of the receptors in your brain. It is a more effective medication than opioids are. It's more aggressive than fentanyl is. They will effectively block your opioid receptors, give your body time to flush the medication out of your system. So if you do have so many opioids in your brain that you are overdosing, that you stop breathing, naloxone will come along, knock those opioids out, take their place, make sure that you are, come out of this overdose situation. It's very effective. It's a very aggressive medication. And because of that, because it only works on your opioid receptors, it is a fairly safe medication to use. If you're not having an overdose, it won't do anything to you. So it is safe to use on pregnant mothers, children, pets. If someone
People have been inadvertently exposed to it.
Yeah, or if someone's just unresponsive, maybe they had a stroke or a heart attack, also safe to use them in those situations.
You mentioned opioid overdose rates up locally in the state and specifically in our area. You're talking, how do you keep track of these things? Because we were talking about this before we went on the air. You got your ambulance companies, you got your law enforcement, you got your jail people when they're checking people into to be incarcerated. You have just the general public. You have all kinds of first responders. How do you keep track of all of these overlapping agencies and individuals to figure out how many overdoses are we dealing with on a monthly basis? How does that number quantify itself?
Yeah, and I'm really glad you asked, because this is something that is really, really dear to my heart. I love data and I love tracking data. Our overdose situation in the area, it grew really, really quickly, and we kind of had to sprint to catch up with collecting the data. So we have some extremely talented individuals at the health district who work in our epidemiology department, and they work with my team to track all the different systems in place. So EMS, our first responders, the emergency departments, correctional facility release, and then also reports from just folks on the streets, and that's a lot more ad hoc, but we also track Rivercom calls, and we kind of feed it into a main database so that we can track these numbers. For the most part, patient information is discarded. We don't collect that for most of the data streams, so that we can just look at the numbers, see where overdoses are happening. If there happens to be a spike, then we can go ahead and tell first responders and police we're worried that the next few days might have elevated risk in this area. We have phenomenal statisticians and folks who are very, very good at math and understanding data, and they are leading the charge to make sure that we can really see the big picture of what's going on, both on a day-to-day as well as month-to-month and annual in the region.
When arrests are made for possession of fentanyl, sometimes large quantities from some significant dealers, I know they have to keep most of the stuff for evidence for trial, but do they send a little your way so you guys can test it to say this stuff is really potent, or this stuff has meth mixed into it, that kind of deal?
Totally, yeah. It is important that both testing folks who go to the hospital and seeing what is in them, but also with law enforcement when they're testing what they grab. So we don't do any sort of testing like that. The testing machines for that are extremely expensive. We're talking $500,000 for these things. There's a number of labs around that our local law enforcement will send samples to, and then we get a report back. They get the report back, they'll let us know, and they talk to the coroner so that we all are watching out for the same thing. Whenever there is a contaminant we aren't expecting, something that might be a much stronger type of opioid or some other things, xylazine, some people are talking about sedatives, things like that. If there's something really we need to be worried about, then law enforcement lets us know. And we also track contamination rates in other areas. So I look at the labs in the Puget Sound area. I watch the labs in Vancouver up in Canada. I try and pay attention to make sure that if something unexpected shows up, that we can tell the community and let folks know that we need to watch out for something.
What do we need to watch? I'm talking to Garth Darnold again, the Mental Health and Substance Abuse Coordinator for the Chelan Douglas Health District. We're running a little short on time. What do we do from this point forward? Is there something that concerns you now, or as the general viewing public, the thousands and thousands of people who are watching this show right now, Garth, what are you concerned of coming down the road, and what can we do just as a general public to put the kibosh on this?
Absolutely. This is a community effort. This is a big thing. The best point of action that we have is in prevention and recovery. So if there is someone in your life who is battling with addiction and having trouble with this, we have some excellent resources in the region. So encourage them to get in touch with the recovery hotline. Look online. There's some great options through Washington State. They can help you navigate what seems like a fairly complex system. But a big part of this is also prevention, making sure that you talk to your doctor about the medication you get. When you're done with your medication, dispose of it properly. April 26th is Medication Return Day. So if you go to our website with Chelan Douglas Health District, we can walk you through the steps of how to safely dispose of your medication. Don't share medication with friends, family. That's between you and your doctor. And that's my best advice.
And communication, folks. Hey, Bob, you broke your leg skiing. You're on the mend. Do you really need that thing refilled again? I mean, just,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
There you go. Garth Donald, full of pertinent information. By the way, so is the website. The Chelan Douglas Health District's website is a font of information. It's well done, and it's right on the front page on what you can do to help out this situation, what you can do to see when somebody is having an overdose, the symptoms, and what you can do to do it, all that stuff. Great information. I'd like to have you on again.
I'd love to be back. I really appreciate you taking time with me today.
I appreciate it as well, Garth. And good, they're having his office. We were going to tape this at the conference room, but a little remodeling going on, and nobody wants to hear a bandsaw in the middle of this conversation. Thanks, Garth. We appreciate it. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Spring into the good life. World-class wine, food, and hospitality meet on the shores of Lake Chelan. Chelan Cellars, bringing great wine, food, friends, and family together where vineyards and the good life bloom every spring.
Tipsy Canyon Winery has become the place to go for fine wine and unbelievable views of the Chelan Valley. Tipsy Canyon Winery is a year-round destination for wine lovers, so stay for the moment that becomes the memory at Tipsy Canyon Winery.
Welcome to Gilded Lily Home, where something extraordinary is waiting. You'll be delighted to find an amazing selection of specialty foods and tabletop decor. Browse their uniquely curated collection of gifts. Shop for yourself in their wide collection of jewelry and clothing, and for your home with their amazing hand-selected furniture, lighting, and decor. The Gilded Lily Home, where you can step in for inspiration and leave with beautiful items for your home, your kitchen, and your lifestyle.
What's your awesome? Whatever it is, Washington Trust Bank can help you get there. Learn more at watrust.com/awesome.
When you've been in business for 40 years, it's because you understand change and you put members first, always. Now Works is announcing a change in their membership model. Up to 6 people on one membership that you can mix and match. The more people, the bigger the discounts. Introducing the Works shared membership model. One membership, friends and family, and flexibility. Works, the cleanest, friendliest, most helpful gyms you and your friends will ever join.
Clouds are already starting to thin out a little bit. It was fairly cloudy in the overnight hours, and that kept our overnight low considerably warmer than they were anticipating. The National Weather Service put everybody in our viewing area under a frost watch. Didn't really get that cold. We didn't. Nobody got anywhere really close to freezing. It was a little cooler down in the Tri-Cities and Yakima area, but we kind of dodged that bullet, so to speak. We're already up to 45 degrees. We were supposed to be mid-30s. That's what they were predicting anyway. So thank you for that, if you will. As far as the long-term forecast for next week, we do this normally on Tuesdays from the Climate Prediction Center. I'll tell you right now, it's about normal. Keep in mind, our normal high this time of the year is right around 65, 64, 65. So as we get deeper and deeper into April and start on May, it looks like we're going to see about normal temperatures all over the western part of the United States. This takes you from this Sunday through Thursday of next week. And as far as precipitation is concerned, same time frame, this Sunday through Thursday, a slightly better than 50-50 chance of perhaps seeing a little bit more precipitation than normal. That's the long-term forecast. A little more pertinent. Sunshine today, and quite a bit of it. Will top off at about 62 degrees, very little wind. That's just about what we hit yesterday. Mostly clear tonight, 39, 40 or so for the overnight low. Sunshine Wednesday, slightly warmer, high of 67. Sunshine Thursday, slightly warmer, into the lower 70s. Of course, Thursday is day one of the 11-day party we like to call the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival, and it looks really good. Friday, temperature-wise, just about 70, but then late in the day on Friday into Saturday, we start thinking maybe a little bit of light rain is possible. There is a trough developing across the western U.S. The question is, where is the center of that trough going to be? And right now, it looks like it's going to be to the south of us, so we may dodge a bullet altogether. If we get any rain at all on Saturday for the Youth Parade, it would be in the afternoon. That's it for us. Start your Wednesday with us tomorrow. Till then, bye-bye.